The man says I'm live. Hey, if you're watching this and it is not 2:51 p.m. on what is this, Monday, Pacific time, then you're not watching the live show, which means you want to click this thing up here so you can see the post show, the one that's been kind of cleaned up and ready. If nothing's up there, then just keep watching this. This will get to the live show. But for now, if anything's there, click that. If not, then just stick around. And hey, we'll be right back. You can fast forward if you're not watching live. If you're not, you can't fast forward. It's just the way it is. Time machines, crazy stuff. Well, hello everybody. Greetings, salutations, and all that good stuff. How you doing? Hey, it is not 9:30 in the morning. This is one of those rare later in the day afternoon shows that I promise to do every 3 weeks or so, and so far I'm sticking to that promise. This is only the second time, so it's not much of a promise to keep. But hey, we're here. We're here at 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is, I know, actually in the morning instead of the middle of the night in the Australian side of the world. I'd be very interested to see if there's anybody here from there today. That'd be kind of cool to see. Who do we have here? We have Rob Fisher, Tony Smith, Gareth Croft, Brad Edwards Photography, and a bunch of other people here as well. Where are you guys calling in from today? Always love to hear where people are watching from. This is the pre-show, in case you're wondering, hence the countdown that's still going right there. In a minute here, I'm going to move some cables around and get ready for the actual live event. So, tell me where you are calling in from while I figure out where my water went, because I suddenly realize I'm a little bit on the thirsty side, and we will have an actual show. There's a cup. That's an empty cup. Let's put something in that. And just tell me where you guys are coming in from. How was your weekend? All that good stuff. What's going on? Is this a show? Are you normally not able to tune in? That's what I really am interested in. People who might be here today who normally can't tune into the show because they are on the other side of the planet. South Wales, UK. Rob Fisher, if it's lagging a bit, do a little refresh on your side. We are looking clean over here, my friend. Let's see, overseas in Germany, excellent. Phoenix as Cappy. Phoenix lags a bit. DFW, awesome. Arizona. Sunny Riverside, Alabama. Cool. Well, I love you too, Talman. Thank you. Thank you. All right, cool. Nobody coming in from the really far other side of the world today, huh? Well, we'll see if we get any. I know it's new. I think a lot of people aren't really used to that yet and don't even know that it's happening, and I kind of should have set it up in the last week, but I had forgotten. And by the way, sorry for the late announcement of the show. Oh, look, I'm out of time. I had every intention of doing a totally different show today, and then as I was getting ready for it, I realized that I needed more information, so I had to scramble to do a different show, and I didn't have a show title up. Anyway, whatever. Hey, you're here. You found it. All right, let's give me just a moment to get rid of that, and not there. Looks. My shelves are Ryan. The shelves are bending. I'm gonna end up with a cup of water on the floor. When we built this whole thing, we get these thick, big honkin' 2x whatever, big thick boards, and they're warping. Must not have been fully dry, the man says. Okay, let's see here. I need to steal this off of here and put this over here so that we're ready for that big switch in the show. And this goes to here. Excellent. All right. Gonna make sure we got all the little bits and pieces. I think that's everything. If not, we'll figure it out as we go, as we always do. Okay. I had an intro planned. It requires this being open. All right. Don't worry, we're gonna do an unboxing. We got this. We got this. Okay, we're ready. I'm done, don't need that. Let's actually get this out of the way so I don't knock it over. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Ryan, are you recording? You're not. Hit record over there. Ryan doesn't even have that loaded up. I'm gonna give him another minute over there. You shift the show to later in the afternoon and everybody falls apart and nobody knows what's happening. And it's a Monday to boot. We made the late show on a Monday so that we weren't rushing around on a Monday morning. It seemed like, oh, once every few weeks we'll have a relaxed Monday. Ryan slept in. It's crazy. He says he did not sleep in. I forgot to tell him to come in late until 6:30 this morning. I'm like, you don't have to come in at normal time if you don't want to. 7:30. Well, I'd already been up for 3 hours. I don't know. I get up at 5. Okay. Enough babble. Can we have a show? Yeah. Let's have a show. Okay. On today's show, we're going to tell you how to put a ring on it. Good afternoon and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live 3 times a week show here at youtube.com/PhotoJoseph, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, but every once in a while we do an afternoon show, which is what this is, at 3 p.m. Pacific, just to try to give some folks on the other side of the little marble floating through the sky that we call home a chance to tune in live. So welcome. If any of you are here from the other side of the rock, welcome. Glad to see you here. It's always lovely to have you. And if you are watching live, remember that you can participate in the chats, in the comments. It means I get to bring your comments up on screen. We can have a little discussion at the end of the show today. Since this is live, we will do a Q&A. You can ask anything you want. It doesn't have to be about this. Obviously, it's lovely if it is. It doesn't have to be. We can talk about whatever you want. We can be here until you're done. With that in mind, let's get on with the show. So This is one of those shows where I get emails a lot from sellers on Amazon, and I know a lot of YouTubers do. And it's funny, I'm in this like small area of YouTuber where I'm big enough where companies start reaching out to me going, here, do you want our product to test, review, do a show on, whatever. And just a little bit bigger, it's going to get to the point where it's like, yeah, this is too much. This is too much. Get away. I don't have time for this. I don't have enough. I got a box. I have a pile of stuff like this to do videos on. Not all of which will get reviews. Just the ones that I think are actually interesting enough. But this is going to last forever, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But you know, it is what it is. So today's weird product is a ring light. It comes in a lovely, big, huge box like this. And the idea behind this ring light is that it is for doing this type of thing, live productions, any video, obviously, really, but ideally live productions. You've got a really nice sized ring light. Don't worry, the orange thing comes off, we'll get there. Really nice big sized ring light. You can put your camera in here. It even comes with a little mount for your smartphone, and it even comes in this lovely purple velvet bag. It's so like lush. I don't know why, of all the things. Anyway, it comes with this little mount for holding your smartphone. So you got a little stretchy, squeaky, mousy thing there. You can stick your smartphone in that. It's really snug. This thing, by the way, let's get a little close-up shot here. So there's the stretchy, squeaky guy. It's got a 1/4-20 on two sides, so you could mount this if you wanted to, put it like this for any reason, and then tilt the head down. You could, or you know, I'm just going to leave it this way. That's kind of its default position there, if you will. And this is a tiny, tiny little ball head. There's a little ball head here, so you're going to mount this inside of the light. We'll see where that goes momentarily. Standard cold shoe type of a mount on here. This whole contraption here is designed to screw into the studio post here. So your light, your ring light, has a post in it. So essentially all you have to do is screw this thing in here. Let me just get that on there real nice and tight and quick. And stick your smartphone into this. There we go. And we'll actually do that momentarily here. Stick your smartphone into there, and you've got light coming at you. So I'm going to take Ryan's phone. Ryan was willing to sacrifice his phone for me today. I promise not to break it. Because mine, for some reason, my iPhone 10, when you rotate it sideways, the HDMI out doesn't rotate when it's in the camera mode. But his iPhone 6 does, so kind of curious. So when we get to the part where we're actually looking through the foam, if you're going, ooh, the camera quality is not that great, remember, it is an iPhone 6. This does go back a ways, so the quality of the camera itself would be better if we had a better phone, but the newest one isn't rotating for the HDMI out. I don't know why, but there you go. Anyway, so that mounts in there like so, and that's really pretty much all there is to it. We can tighten this down. Now, this part here, fortunately, comes off. I have no... Honestly, why would you want a full CTO orange cover? I mean, you'd have to be in some pretty gnarly light for this to be the appropriate white balance. It's kind of hard to really fathom. Now, they do make one of these that has a bicolor setup in it, so you can actually do a color temperature tune on it. And the only reason I even know that is because if we look at the back of the device here, let's get this in the frame, we have right here our power and dimming knob. It's a nice solid switch on that and nice big dimming range. There's your DC input. And this knob right here, according to the manual, is for the color temperature tuner, which tells us that there is a version of this unit that has bicolor lighting in it, which I often, as I actually just said on last week's show, I said that I often recommend against going with color tunable lights. This would be one of those exceptions, actually. I think the color tunable version of this would be quite good, allow you to just balance that in a little bit. One of the reasons I say that, I'll give you two reasons for that. One is you never know what kind of environment you're going to be in. If you're using something like this, it's probably not the most controlled thing in the world. I mean, maybe you're in your kind of home environment, whatever, but if this is the only light source that you have, well, it'd be nice. You're probably balancing with some other lights in there. It'd be nice to have a little control over it. The second reason is that the light that we get out of this in daylight balance is not very, I mean, it's daylight, but it's got a color shift to it. Now, I'm going to walk you through all this when I hook it up, and we're going to be looking through a big studio camera where I can make color adjustments. Clearly, you can't do that with your smartphone or even many DSLRs that many YouTubers would be using. You just don't have that level of control, but you do have automatic or even better custom white balance, which is going to negate the problems. But just to know that the light you're getting out of it that is supposed to be, I don't know, 6500 or 6000, whatever it's supposed to be, it's got some color cast to it. But I think it's not going to be a problem for most people. Incidentally, in the manual, I love this. Item number 2, the device is not intended as a lighting equipment. please do not. Continuous work over 6 hours. Well, that's good advice for everybody. Nobody should work over 6 hours continuously, but there you go. Okay, so that's it. It's a ring light, LED light. It's got the little mount for your camera. You can for your smartphone, you can take this off and use that post to mount anything. As you're going to see in a moment here, I'm going to put this on a light stand in front of my studio camera, so we're going to be using the studio camera for it. It also comes with a light stand, actually, which is pretty good. It's a kind of a piece of, it's not a very, let's just say that you'd probably be better off using a different light stand, especially if you're going to put an expensive camera on the thing. But, you know, in a pinch, it works. And if all you're going to hold up is this thing, then, you know, it's fine. You might want to sandbag it, though. Anyway, so that's that. To turn this thing on, we obviously have power. Let's plug some power into this thing. And not that you can really tell from the video here, but we'll just do this. We'll do kind of a dimming. You can see from your dimmest to your brightest setting. So, you know, it's not super bright. I mean, after all, let's face it, you're going to be looking into it like this, right? You don't necessarily want it to be blinding. You're going to be looking. It actually tells you in this, too, not to look into the light. And you're thinking, isn't that kind of the point of this, is to be looking into, anyway, I guess they have to say that. But that's it. So let's put this thing up over there. We're going to put it up in front of that camera. Before I do that, though, I want to remind you guys of the way this show works. We operate on a value for value model around here. And what that means is that if you have taken value from today's show, there's all kinds of ways you can give value back. The easiest and most obvious one on a show like this is to find the affiliate link down below if you decide that this is the kind of thing that you just can't live without. So go ahead and pick up a copy of this light using one of the links down below. That would be most welcome and most appreciated. And if that isn't quite your cup of tea, if that's not the kind of thing you want to do, and you still want to help out on the show, then by all means, you can contribute any other number of ways. Using that link you saw back there, PhotoJoseph.com/support, all kinds of ways you can help us out and keep us on the air here. But in the meantime, let's take a look at this light. So I have connected the light. Let's make sure it's up all the way. Full brightness it is. It is pointing at a color chip card. And you go, ooh, well, that looks quite nice, actually. That lighting looks pretty good there. I mean, it's a good camera, obviously, right? It's the 4K Studio Cam, the Blackmagic Studio Cam. I got a good Lumix lens on there. So, you know, it's a nice setup. But the colors look great, right? Well, let's just take a look at what I've done to those colors. Let's take a look over here at the interface for that studio camera. And if you look closely at my colors in here, you'll see that I have really shifted the camera on the red down, the blue up. The highlights are definitely not all in sync. The shadows are pretty well placed out. The highlights are not too distributed, but it's really in the midtones where we're seeing it. And that difference between 0.05, 0.01 may not seem like much, but it's kind of a lot. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you what it looks like without it. So I'm going to go up here and copy these settings. And then I'm going to hit this Reset All button. And I'm going to hit that while you're looking through there. So this is my custom settings, and there's the default. You see that bluish green shift? Did you see that? Now, it's not awful. Right? I mean, if that's just normal, you plug it in, most people aren't going to know the difference. But I want to show you, I wanted to be totally, you know, upfront that this is not going to give you the greatest quality in the world, but it works. And given the price, it works pretty well. It's, I think, 80 bucks. So not too shabby at all. Again, link down below. You know, 80 bucks for a big ring light like this, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so let's go back to that studio light. I'm going to paste my settings back in so that I get my nice colors back. There we go. And let's take a look at it with some skin tone. So I'll just get in here, and there we go. So that is me on the camera. It's nice, right? It's a nice, obviously, all-around illuminating light. If you go too close to a background, then you're going to get that weird halo shadow that happens around ring lights, so that's something to be aware of. It works really nicely when you have your background farther away. If you get too close to the background, yeah, those shadows can get really funky and weird, so you probably want to avoid that. But in this type of environment, I think it works pretty good. So now, the next thing we're going to do is switch to looking through the iPhone. So the iPhone is already, I know you can't really see it, but the iPhone's hooked up there. So let me turn this on, because that's one of those things that you kind of have to do. And switch this into video mode, turn the camera around, and let's switch to it. So here we go. This is looking through the iPhone. Now let's tap the screen to bring the brightness down. So there you go. That's what you're going to get through an iPhone. Now, it might be too bright, right? So I'm going to reach up here and find the dimmer, bring the dimmer down a little bit, let it compensate. And you can see how much more of the background is showing up. The shine on the head is really from the overhead lights. So let's overpower those. You know, it's not awful. It's not awful. The color is not great, but then again, we're using the front-facing camera of an iPhone 6s, so it's not the latest and greatest front-facing cameras. But if you're buying this to use as a, you know, I know we're out of sync here, so we're going to go back to this one because I know that that video and audio does slip out of sync at that point. If you're buying this to use as a live webcam light, and you're going to use your smartphone or even a standard DSLR type camera and you're plugging it into a live system, you could do worse. And for 80 bucks, you could do a lot worse. So I'd say when it comes to cheap LED ring lights, this one's a go. It definitely isn't perfect. It's definitely not really, really high quality. But again, for the money, it's kind of hard to beat. So there you go. So if you're looking for a cheap LED ring light, I think this one's all right. Link down below if you want to pick that up. And yeah, I guess that's really all there is to it. Okay, folks, for those of you watching live, we're going to jump into the Q&A portion of the show. If you have anything that you would like to queue, I will do my best to A it. We'll see you back here in just a moment. So I forgot to swap the graphic out, so we'll just cut that out of the edited show and put the right graphic in. How's that sound? Welcome back to the Q&A portion of the show. We just finished talking about this ring light right over there, which is ringy and lit up, and it even comes with a CTO Frisbee, if you need such a thing. Howdy. So if you got a question, drop it into the live chat. Now is the time to do that sort of thing. Let's just see what is going on over here in the live chat today. Not a whole heck of a lot. A lot of people saying hello from all over the world. Let's bring that up. Remember, if you have a question for me, please do put @PhotoJoseph in front of it. That helps me know that you have a question for me. And this is just everybody saying hello and telling me where they're calling in from today, which is always fun. Let's see here. Any actual questions going on in here? Put a ring on it, Tony says. See, look, Tony, you caught my awful joke. It was bad, I know. If you don't know what he's talking about, it's in the beginning. Anyway, yeah, it was bad. Okay, oh, no actual questions in there. Interesting. Well, I guess this is the thing with the late afternoon shows. We've definitely been a little bit quieter on the Q&As. Oh, look, there's one. Oh, wait. Rob says, notice any flickering? No, I did not. And in fact, let's just prove that again. I'll leave this on for a little bit. I'll come over here and run part of the show from here. We got the right light on? Yeah, we do. Right camera on. So, no, I have not seen any flickering happening. Not that I saw in, you know, testing this, setting it up for this. I haven't done any huge recordings or broadcasts from it. I thought about doing the entire show from it like this, but then I wouldn't be able to actually show it to you. But this portion of it is. So you can tell me, are you seeing any flickering? I know I'm not. Here, let's do this actually. Well, it might mess the exposure up, but let's just see what happens. I'm going to turn off the other house lights. This is probably not going to be bright enough. Yeah, that's not bright enough on here now. And that's not going to be in focus. Let's see here. If I can. There we go. So that's me, slightly too close and personal. In focus, probably a little bit on the dark side. I could adjust the camera, open the aperture on that a bit, but that's a little bit too much like hard work. But that's, I'm not getting any flicker. I'm not seeing any. I'm looking at my confidence monitor here. I don't see any flickering there. Are you guys seeing any flickering? I'm not. So I think we're doing pretty good on there. I think we're doing all right. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. I just hit the wrong button and powered off my screen. Fortunately, it doesn't shut the cameras off. So I'm waiting for that to come back up so I can see what else you guys had to say after the question about the flickering. Come on, there it is. All right, Nathan Albolivas says, how long have you been a working photographer? Oh boy, that's a good question. That's a long time. Well, I started with photography when I was, like I like to say, knee-high to a bug. I was really, really little. Had my first paid job, you know, dad's friend paid me 50 bucks for a print when I was like 11 years old, I think 12 years old, something like that. Studied it in college and went into tech, as you do. I didn't start as a full-time professional photographer until 2009. Before that, I was doing stuff on the side. I was doing stuff at Apple. I worked at Apple for not 8 years, 8 years, I think. I did a lot of photography for them, so I certainly was acting as a professional photographer for them, but I wasn't freelance, I wasn't on my own. I did some projects on the side as well, outside of Apple, and then in 2009, I started doing this. But yeah, kind of basically forever. That's kind of the right answer. Pretty much forever. Working or sometimes not working. Rob Fisher, maybe I missed it. Is it battery powered? No, it is not battery powered. It is wall powered only. Burns Tech, I never liked what ring lights do to people's eyes. That ring is distracting to you. That's interesting you say that. I think that a lot of people really like the catch light created by the ring. I'm not going to disagree with you though. It is not my favorite. You see it very common in makeup videos, and I only know that because my wife watches them. But you see it very common in makeup videos, which is great for a makeup video, right? Because you get that really even lighting around the face. If you've got a camera right in the middle and you're doing makeup to the camera and you've got that really nice even light, it's fantastic for that. But it does create a strange circular catch light. It's really fun when you put on sunglasses. I mean, I think this is kind of a cool look. You know, you're doing this kind of a thing. You're like, yeah, there you go. Now you're a little alien looking. So that works. No, maybe not so much. But yeah, that's the ring light. The catch light as a ring can be a little bit odd. If you can catch light as a semi-ring, remember when I did the demo on the sitting right down there. What's that called? The big half circular. Ryan, help me out here. What's the reflector? Eyelighter. That's the one called the Eyelighter. Glad somebody's paying attention around here. From Westcott, that thing is awesome, right? That has that nice circular, half circle catch light. That's pretty cool. But hey, different things. Different things for different folks. There's a phrase somewhere in there. Tony Smith says, I've been looking for a wide angle lens. Oh, cool. Totally different comment. For my Micro Four Thirds for real estate photography. What focal length minimum should I be looking at? Do I need to go as low as 12? Or is 9 okay? Or 16 okay? Okay, 16 is definitely not okay. I used the 7 to 14 for a long time. I would still be using that, except now I have the 8 to 18, and it's a better quality lens. So I use the 8 to 18, and I am often zoomed all the way out to 8 millimeters. So there's definitely no way that 16 is wide enough. 12 really isn't either. 9 would be okay. I would suggest, if you can afford it, the 8 to 18. If that's out of your price range and is doing real estate photography, that's probably out of the price range because it's an expensive lens for not very high profit work. Then look at the 7 to 14 and even consider picking up a used 7 to 14. There should be quite a few of them on the market. That lens was great. No complaints about it. There's nothing wrong with it. I got the 8 to 18 and it's a little bit better, so that's what I use now. And the 7 to 14 is pretty much sitting there collecting dust. That tiny bit of width difference between the 7 and the 8 hasn't affected me at all. But I wouldn't want to go less than 8. 8's definitely about as non-wide as telephoto. That's the wrong word. Anyway, 8's your minimum. How's that sound? Let's see here. Rob Fisher, could you turn off all the lights again and put the ring light to 100% to see how bright it is? It was at 100, I think, wasn't it? Let's try it again. Switch this back over. Lights off, lights off, lights off. Let's make sure this is at full brightness. Oh, maybe it wasn't at full brightness before. Oh, I guess it wasn't because I was messing around with the iPhone. Okay, so this is lights off. The ring light's at full brightness. The camera, let me see, what is this set to? It is set at f4.5. It's a +6 dB. Remember, this is a broadcast camera, so there's no ISO rating. But yeah, so there you go. Still no flicker? No, I'm not seeing any flicker. Not that I can see. Tell me if you're seeing it, because I'm not seeing it, but you're seeing something different than I am. So I think it looks pretty good. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Ryan says he doesn't see any flicker. Let's get my lights back on and switch back to camera A. There we go. Man, this is going to be one of those shows where I'm going to get a bunch of people asking, how are you switching everything with your iPad? What software on your iPad are you using? If you're wondering, if you've gotten this far in the show and you're wondering how in the heck I'm doing all the switching, we'll put a video right here for you to watch. It ain't just the iPad. Sorry, that's just a glorified remote control. Let's see here. Jacob Till, it might work well for your top-down shot. Ooh, interesting. The ring light pointing straight down. I think it'd be too broad. No, it'd be too broad. It would be all over my head and face because it's not focused. I'd really have to put some scrim in there to really knock that down, or flag in there rather to knock that back. Yeah, I don't think I would use it for that. If it was here, like say I was doing, actually that would be a really cool use of it, wouldn't it? If I was doing like handheld videos, so if I'm doing camera down and I'm doing stuff here, that would be a really nice light. So I'd basically have the light sitting like this and my hands down here and the camera down. Ooh, that would be cool, actually. That could be a really, although at that distance, just your arms getting a little bit closer is going to be overexposed from what's on the table. You'd have to really be on the table. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe tilt the light. I don't know, it's worth experimenting with. You know, for 80 bucks, if you're looking for a really cool lighting setup for that kind of thing, it might be worth experimenting with. Interesting, interesting. Everyone's saying no flicker or roll. That's great. That is excellent. We shouldn't see any roll, definitely, but no flicker is good to hear. No green spike, well, who knows until you get it on scopes, but yeah, you know, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, anything else in here? Let's see here. Any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments? Not seeing anything. Have nothing else that I missed in here. All right, well, I guess then we're going to wrap that up. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. I hope the afternoon show is good to some of you. Again, if you're watching from the other side of the world, oh, Burns is saying you've seen similar effect to rolling shutter with some crappy lights. Well, go figure. Cool. Oof. Yeah, if you're watching from the other side of the world, like the Oz side of things, let me know. The folks who are normally in bed when I'm doing the show, it's always fun to be able to hear that somebody was able to tune in that wasn't normally able to. You're quite welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Wednesday's show. Do you guys know what Wednesday is? It's an Apple keynote day, which means we're going to be doing the MST3K style commenting throughout the entire keynote because why not? I get to do it twice a year, and it's always fun. So we'll see if we can break the live stream count of 1,000 people that we had a year ago. So this will be the one from a year ago. We had, it looks like 980 people or something watching. We're like, come on, we're so close to 1,000. So tell your friends that the best way to watch the Apple live stream is going to be at youtube.com/PhotoJoseph. And tell your friends not to tell the guy in front to sit down and shut up, because that's what they're here for. All right, folks, see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.